Okay, I hope you all can forgive the lighting, but lighting is not really important um, for this. Um, I don't know how much more of this I'm going to do. Um, I think I've achieved my purpose of trying to enlighten people and trying to inspire people and give people hope, but everything runs its course, I guess. Well, it's been a rough month for me. Um, uh, I had, doctors, of course, have found some spots and they wanted to do on my liver and they wanted to do 6 rounds of chemo. I went through 2 rounds of chemo and it took an extreme toll on me, more than any other previous chemo. And it also raised my blood sugar tremendously. And um, at one point, it raised my blood sugar above 600 and took my A1C up to 11 point something, which is, very dangerous levels. And a few weeks, about 3 weeks ago, I had to go to the emergency room because in the morning because my blood sugar was actually above 600. It wouldn't even register on a meter that I was told to use. It just said high, and so I had to stay a night in the hospital and have it regulated. And at which time they told me, of course, that I was diabetic. Was situationally diabetic, but of course in their minds, just diabetic, and that I had to use insulin um, until further notice. And so I was told to use two types of pens, one called Novaloff, another one called Traceba, one long term, one short term. And uh, so the next day I went home and started that regimen. And of course, I had to take my blood sugar before and after every meal, about 6 times a day. And the effect of the blood sugar rise on me physically was great fatigue and lethargy. And so I was dealing with that, uh, trying to get that under control. And went to Virginia Beach, and the second day on vacation, experienced great pain in my left leg, which I thought was a sprain. Got back that Friday, had a fever. Everything seemed to point towards a blood clot, and I went to the emergency room again, had a blood clot in my leg, something called an acute deep vein thrombosis, and I'm being treated for that. The Eliquis I was on was not sufficient, so now I have to go back to injecting myself twice a day with Lovenox, and hopefully that'll resolve the blood clot issue, which may take several weeks, and it's very, very painful. Very painful. It's like a constant cramp, you know, at its peak, So I'm on oxycodone, codone for that, and Tylenol and ibuprofen, and so it's been really, really rough. Um, and then the real news was after getting scans on this Monday, um, and the cancer seems to be spreading. Well, as it was explained to me, two of the spots had gone away, two other spots had come up, and other two existing spots had grown, suggesting that the cancer has grown. So the doctor was very straightforward and blunt as he is with me. We have that sort of rapport. And he said, left untreated, that I'd be looking at 6 months to live. And the second option, uh, and he brought that up because I told him that I don't know if I can tolerate any more chemo, and I don't know if I even want to try. But anyway, the second option was to discontinue the previously used chemo since it has been proven to be ineffective now that the cancer cells seem to be increasing. And to try another type of chemo um, that he said some patients responded to well to. And then in about a month or so, do scans again and see where things stand. Um, so that's option two. The other option three is to try something called liver-directed radiation, which involves, blasting radiation on the spots and trying to get rid of it, which he doesn't think very much of because he thinks the cancer will just come back. And then the fourth option would be a combination of options two and three. So, um, the options that we agreed to move forward on are mainly option two. So in 2 weeks I'll start chemo again, a different type of chemo, which will be on a weekly basis, 3 weeks, once a week, then off. It's supposed to be less invasive and have far less intense side effects, and won't involve steroids, which drove my blood sugar up, and chemo that drove my blood sugar up. Now the blood clot is said to be caused by the cancer cells. Um, so that's where things stand. Of course, the hope was that the spots would have been gone, but it turned out to be the case. So to move on. And how do I feel? Well, I'm in a daze. Just how much of this can you go through? Continue to go through. And now the symptoms are a little bit more in my face. Physical. So it's a little more real to me now, and I am seeing things a little less optimistically now. But all I can do is the best I can do. Go see what this chemo will bring about. Eat well and do what I can. I'm not really shaken tremendously by the idea of not being here much longer. I would like to be, so I can be here for my son, but it's God's will. It's God's will, as it said. I just pray that, he's taken care of and has a great life. And my wife will be okay, and I'm sure she will in time. She has to do what she has to do to protect herself, so things are as they are. I can't express myself freely because even that comes under fire. So, life is what it is. I can't make sense of this. I don't see the rhyme and reason. I don't see the logic. I don't see the fairness. I don't see any of these things, But it is what it is, and you take it as it comes. And for those who say life is what you make it, then I never like that because there are people who are. To me, it's a crapshoot. Make your best of what's provided to you, and people are born with varying levels of blessings, and those what we're given with, you work the best with. But to say life is what you make it, to me, is it's just an empty platitude, and saying I really, you make the best of what you have, and hopefully you have enough to make something good out of, and I'll leave it at that. You know, So for those who even care to, you know, just keep your prayers coming and take care of yourself. One of your family members or friends who may see this, and if you want to, call. You don't. I mean, people I've seen all sides of people, and people just continue to be what they are, and I'm not impressed. It's really sad. Um, but it is what it is. Um, if anybody by chance wants to do anything nice for me, I'd like iTunes gift cards. Any flowers you want to send for later on, save your money. Give me an iTunes gift card so I can listen to some nice music now. Now, like I said, I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna fight. I am weak. I am tired. My mobility now is hindered by this leg, and I'm still waiting on this money from disability, our wonderful government. Um, at which time, and I'm gonna put everything in place to make things as easy as possible as I can for my wife and son. Um, but I continue to fight and do the best I can, and who knows what the future will bring. Do my holistic thing, eat well and when able, exercise, and take it from there. I wish everybody all the best. My blessings go out to you. My blessings and love goes to my student. I had a student who suffered from depression and took her life, and beautiful young lady at 20 years old, and the world is very hard. Make your way, be there for your children, understand this horrible disease of depression, and don't judge. You know, try to find a way to not let the world overtake you and give up yourself and love non-judgmentally. Thank you.